Hello everyone, welcome to the round 2 lockout countdown stream. Sorry I'm a couple of minutes late and hopefully internet, touch wood, is all good. I think Tuesday was a good example of when it works, it's all good, and I've kept the same settings, so yeah, hopefully it's all good and hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Sorry I'm a little bit late, I'm just checking the audio's on. Yep, should all be good to go. We've got 55 minutes until lockout. Some news from the Rabbitohs game. Sad times. Jacob Gagai just sitting there, not in the team. Tane Milne has come in for him. This is just sad. It's so sad. Tane Milne is just going to get suspended though, surely. Like, he just always gets some kind of judiciary punishment and then will leave the team. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So hopefully Gagai just gets back into the team at some point. But yeah, obviously not fantastic. But he's now a loop option. For anyone who didn't have a VC loop option, you've now got Jacob Gagai. So maybe you can factor that into your decisions for this week in the last kind of 55 minutes or so. But yeah, Jacob Gagai will be a non-player this week, so you can actually use him as a VC option this week. But yeah, keep the comments coming in, keep the chat flowing. The whole point of the stream is to answer all of your questions. Very quickly on my team. Actually, just quickly rounding out the Rabbitohs news. So, yeah, Shaq Mitchell has come in on the edge, which I'm a bit surprised about. I'm sure it will be in-game. Murray will go to the edge and Shaq Mitchell will play some middle. And then, obviously, Talis Duncan is still on the bench. So, he'll be probably playing he may play a bit of a rotation as well of middle and edge. But yeah, the Tane Milne one is a little bit frustrating, but there's always this risk with Gagai. But unfortunately, it just happened so soon. We thought it may happen like round 3, round 4, but yeah, look, he's not going to be in the team moving forward by the look of it, but we'll see how we go. On the Broncos side, I think there's pretty much nothing material there. I think they're all, I think they're 1 to 17. Can't see anything in their team that's any different. So yeah, all smooth sailing with the Broncos team. Yeah, with my team, so Jai Arrow has been sold for Terrell May. I had to do that move this week. Today, before the lockout of the Rabbitohs game. With Spencer Leniu, I'm keeping my powder dry for the time being. He is a loop option for me. So I've got the VC on Hines. If Hines goes really big, I can just put the captaincy on Leniu and keep him for another week and then get another week of information. And good point, John T, about Gagai. Yeah, he will be locked out actually, so you can't loop him with him. Good point. Yep, sorry. Thanks for correcting me, John T, on that one. Yeah, you can't actually use Gagai as a loop option. Sorry about that. But yeah, with my team, Leniu will be a loop option for me all the way because he plays until the Roosters don't lock out till Sunday 4:05 p.m. So my thinking is, let's see what happens with Hines. If Hines goes really big, 130, 140 plus, I'll just captain Leniu. I'll take the vice captain points and I don't need to drop any of my reserves, which is nice. If Hines doesn't go big, let's say he goes 75, then I still think I'm leaning towards just keeping Leniu for 1 week because I just really don't know who is the front forward I want. Flegler would probably be the one I'd be more certain about, but then he's got the bye next week, same as Josh Kerr, and I want to see the minutes rotation. Maybe someone else emerges. I just don't know, honestly. That's my answer. Like, Tavita Totola potentially, but he only scored like 37 points last week. Like, I'm happy probably, I think, to just, if Liam Henry gets 35, 36, that's like what, maybe 10 to 15 points different from what my replacement guy would get. And we're just looking at it as, I think maybe that save trade, extra week of information, but I think that would be a better use of this week's moves to not actually do the move when I don't know the option I'm going for is I'm confident in. And so I'm thinking actually, Hines doesn't go big and I can't loop, I'll just play Liam Henry, especially with the Penrith bench. There's some rumours of Dane Laurie coming in. I suspect it would be for Sonny Luke, but the bench looks pretty good for Liam Henry. You know, you've got Lindsay Smith, Luke Garner. Like, Liam Henry and Lindsay Smith are the only recognised middles on that bench. So I think Smith could be good for like hopefully 40, and that might just be enough for me for this week. But yeah, otherwise that's my team. Nothing else different in terms of sit v starts. Sticking with who I played last week, I prefer Tuapiki to Bostock, even though Bostock's got a better matchup on paper. Tuapiki's the fullback, got better work rate, so I'm just more confident in him. And I think Warriors can cause a bit of an upset against Melbourne. Burbo is playing in the edge back row, so I'm happy to play him. Ethan Strange, there was a few people asking about Ethan Strange as a as a play this week against the Tigers. I'm probably just not particularly fond of it just because we just don't know what he's capable of at the moment. So for the time being, I'm kind of happy to just park him on my bench. Same with Lockie Galvin. We have no idea what his role is going to be, how he's going to play. So Joe Chan, bad work rate, don't want to play him. So that's kind of where my sit review starts are at. Anyway, we've got 50 minutes left, so I think we'll power through your questions. Gagai to Galvin from my car. I don't love that just because Galvin, we just don't know. Like Caesar's on the bench there. It's a bit weird. Maybe Caesar comes in last minute to start. Maybe Galvin goes on the bench. And this isn't like Gagai's not going to change in price if he doesn't play. And because he's only going to change in price after his third game, not 3 rounds. Same with Galvin. He won't change price until round 4. I think I'd be happy to sit on that one. And maybe you don't even have to do that switch until round 4, my car. So I think I'd probably be happy to be patient on that one. Don't mind the Robson downgrade for cash to Lomax. I want to see Lussick one more week. I'm assuming that's Joey Lussick from the Eels. Yeah, Robson, I mean, if you picked Robson, I'm assuming you picked him as a bit of a stepping stone to Grant. But yeah, as you say, the downgrade could maybe enable Lomax, who I'm very keenly keeping an eye on, and just also thinking this week, how would I get to him next week if I wanted to? RTS is probably the most likely given he's closest in price, or maybe I free up bulk cash and go like Bostock in for him. To be decided. Dan the Souths fan, good luck for tonight. Actually, I'm a Roosters fan. I don't really want Souths to win. Sorry about that. In my tipping, I've tipped Broncos tonight just because I think they're the home team. Both teams coming off a loss in Vegas, but just going to back the home team here. Bringing Liam Henry in for, I'm going to assume Viliami Fafita a waste of a trade. Not a waste of a trade, because I think you're going to get a guy who is actually going to be playing. But again, I don't think this needs to happen this week because we still don't know really about minutes for Penrith. But I would say if you think you're going to need to do 3 other trades next week, assuming you use a boost next week, then I think I would be okay doing that because it looks like Viliami Fafita, I mean, he's maybe 1 injury away from going back into that Dragons team, but Liam Henry looks like he's actually in the 17 positively because Scott Sorensen came in and Luke Garner went to the bench, but then Matt Eisenhuth dropped out, not Liam Henry. So that's a positive for him. So he looks like he could stay in that 17 altogether for the Penrith Panthers. Sweaty Beast YouTube, hey man, I just got in here. Can you give me any last minute thoughts about Burton? He's in your team, but I'm not fully sold. Yeah, look, Burton I was not necessarily keen on, but of the other 5'8 options outside of Dillbags, I thought because of the goal kicking, he might be the one to go to. Pretty poor last week. I think he only scored about 15 points. I think the Sharks matchup is probably better for him compared to who I think is the other best replacement around his price in Luke Brooks, who's got the Roosters this week. So again, prices don't change this week. I think I'd be patient on this one. If your eye test is telling you you really don't want him, then I think he's fine to sell. And Luke Brooks is probably going to be the one who I'd go to because Brooks, eye test wise, did look good. So I think if you're really set on, say, Brooks as an option and selling Burton, again, don't hate doing it this week. You got to trust your gut. But again, patient. If you can be patient this week, that's not a bad thing to do. But yeah, look, if you think you're going to make the move next week anyway, and you've got other trades you may want to do, I don't mind doing Burton to someone like a Luke Brooks. But again, you can be patient with that one. Bostock or Hutchinson for your final reserve. Big Chungus, I would go with Hutchinson. Safer for work rate, like he's still involved in the attack and that he's a halfback versus the winger. And I think you'd think that the Bulldogs will hopefully put on a better performance than last week. So I think I'd take Hutchinson. Like he got 34, I think Hutchinson in 80 minutes, and he had no attacking stats, just mainly in base. So he got 34. Bostock scored 38 with a try. So like I think I'd probably play Hutchinson. He's a bit safer in my opinion. Encouraging everyone to take more risks. Now is the best time to focus on team structure. Definitely this is the time to be making trades to set your team up correctly. But in terms of taking risks and like pods that you're not sure about, I feel like the best time for that is generally around maybe after the first month, or maybe even around 6. You've got then a decent sample size. So I agree with you in some extent. Like you need to trade hard at the beginning of the season to get your team right, but don't need to take too many more risks. I want to see more risky trades. Jai Arrow to Terrell May is probably the most boring move this week, but happy to be maybe a bit more risky next week, but not this week, I think. So yeah, Sweaty Beast, we've answered that one. Alex Palmer, need help. Oh, because you were doing Spencer Lenny for Josh Kerr, but leaves me short in the front row forward next week. Yeah, that's another thing. So, I mean, early in the week, I was a bit keen on Josh Kerr, but thinking about it a bit more, I want to see the minutes rotation and maybe happy to just cop Liam Henry from my bench. It's a bit more difficult in, say you've got the same setup as me, but maybe you've got Farmasuli compared to Sam Hughes. I still think I'd be okay playing Sam Hughes just for the week. If he's going to get you mid-30s, again, it's 10 to 15 points less than maybe the guy you're going to replace Spencer Leniu with, but you're probably taking a little bit more of a punt. There's a less certainty about who you're bringing in, and especially someone like Flegler or Josh Kerr, who they do have a bye next week. That's not ideal, and you're going to have to play Hughes anyway next week. So it's kind of like giving yourself that extra week of information and saving yourself that trade, because the trade I think is more valuable than 10 to 15 points that you could gain on it this week. Mackay Kesby, should I trade out Jai Arrow, and so, if so, for who? Hard to comment if I don't have the full context of your entire front row forward, but assuming you don't have Terrell May, assuming you do have Terrell May, I think the next best safe option is probably Flegler, I think, in terms of his minutes and what he will generally average, but again, does have the bye next week, so you just need to factor that into your planning for next week. Currently have, this is from Oliver, currently have Cotter and Max King, looking to get in Terrell May, don't have the funds to get from Hughes or Henry, unsure of which of my two starters to trade. See, Oliver, I think in your situation where both of you guys are starting and playable guys, I would probably want to defer that for a week, because I think Max King in particular, like he played 43 minutes last week, that doesn't feel like what he should be getting. Same with Cotter, the game for the Cowboys, they were pretty well ahead. Maybe his minutes also weren't so sure. I think in your situation, I would personally want to give myself that extra week. You've got two decent playing front row forwards anyway, and then you can make a better judgment of which of the two you'd want to sell for Terrell May. That'd be my opinion. If you were desperate to sell one of the two this week, I would think I would sell Max King. I believe Cotter has dual, which Max King doesn't. Yeah, Cotter's got dual, King doesn't. So that's one thing I prefer to Cotter. I just also think Cotter's more likely to get attacking stats. He was close to one last week. So if you were desperate to sell one of the two, it'd be Cotter, but I think you can hold fire on it this week. Grant and Moses to Hines and Appy. See, I get the temptation because Moses looks to be injured and Hines has got a great matchup this week, but you kind of knew that already coming into this week, that Hines had a good matchup this week. And Grant, you knew had a tough draw as well. Like, you're sacrificing you're kind of swapping two gun players to facilitate Hines this week. And I know it's scary to not have Hines this week, but I don't like it just because you're sacrificing guns who, if you would have seen the draw, Hines would, if you preferred Hines this week to all of those other four, then sorry, it's a bit hindsighty, but ideally you would have had him from the beginning. If you made that decision to not go him, then it kind of feels a bit much to be fair. I will say, Hines and Appy will probably outscore Grant and Moses this week. So if you're purely focusing about points, then I think it will work. But it's more about you're burning trades to trade out guns for other guns who I think you want to keep those other guns in your team anyway. Is it worth selling Cleary or Ponga next week if their prices are going to plummet? Silky, that is a really, really good question, but I think I'm just going to not answer it because I think it doesn't really change anything for this week. Just want to try to help people more with their kind of sit v starts and type questions this week, but it is a very good question and we'll definitely talk about that next week, especially if one of the two or both of them go low and they've got very high break evens. Hughes or Henry for your front row forward, if it's a play, probably Liam Henry. Prefer the bench makeup that he's got compared to Sam Hughes. Trade Kotrick to Talau this week. Again, you can wait, but I do think this is the risk with Kotrick I mentioned in the preseason, is that job security wasn't there. When Seb Chris came back, it could have been that Hopewadi moved to the wing and Kotrick left, which is exactly what's happened. I think that's actually a fine move to make this week, in my opinion, because I think Kotrick, yes, he's one injury away from going back into the team, but I don't think he was a very good Supercoach option anyway. Tommy Talau playing right wing for the Manly Sea Eagles. Saab out for 6 weeks. I think job security-wise looks good. I pulled some numbers on him on Tuesday. In his 80-minute games last season for the Tigers at centre, he averaged 37 and he's priced at 28. I would think that 37 average could only be better playing on the wing, which I prefer, and for a better attacking team in Manly. So I think Talau's a good option. I think I'll be looking to get Talau probably around 4, maybe Tuapiki to Talau, something I do. But yeah, I think I don't mind doing that this week, Alistair. Ponga's pals, Arrow to May, easy. Farmasuli to Kerr, because I only have Hughes and Viliami for Feta. Can't trade for Feta for Kerr because I can't afford it on the bench, but only have 30k in the bank. Any other ideas? I mean, yes, Arrow to May, I would do that. To be honest, in your situation, Ponga's pals, again, with Kerr having the bye next week, you're going to be in the same situation next week anyway, where you will need to play one of your bench front row forwards. And I do feel like this save trade could maybe pay off better for you. I would be happy to actually just play Sam Hughes in your second front row forward spot, Ponga's pals, and you don't need to force in Josh Kerr. I know I was a bit keen on him earlier, but yeah, I kind of think I want to give him a bit more, give it another week just to see minutes and rotations. Should I trade Fermor or Lucas to Smithies or hold till next week? Again, big chungus, depends on what you think you're going to do next week. I do think Smithies is a good trade-in option this week. He looks very safe for good scores. Like he played 64 5 minutes, I think, and scored 58. Like that's kind of what you would expect out of him. He's going to make money if he continues averaging that for sure. He's priced at like 33, and I do think, I mean, out of Fermor or Lucas, God, Lucas looked good. Fermor didn't, and Lucas has dual, but I'd probably sell Lucas just because at least Fermor we know is an 80-minute back row. With Lucas, uncertain what the rotation truly is with Kai Pearce-Paul. And they're both out this week, but Lucas is with a head knock. Maybe that has lingering symptoms, but I'd probably say it's more for the fact that long term he's probably going to minute share compared with Fermor, who's playing 80 minutes. Yeah, I don't mind Lucas to Smithies this week. You just need to decide if you think you can still do it next week and not hinder doing other trades in your team. Guys, give the stream a like as well if you are enjoying it. We've got 39 minutes to go, so plenty of time to go through your questions still, but yeah, do give the stream a like if you are enjoying it. Really helps the algorithm on YouTube, gets it out to more people so they can join the chat. Should I trade Tilly Tupanua or Beau Fermor to Terrell May or wait a week? Again, these questions about waiting a week is really tough because it also depends who can you play in substitution of Beau Fermor. Because I think Terrell May is a very good trade in this week. A lot of that is due to people just having Jai Arrow and Spencer Leniu, so they're just forced into it. Whereas you could very easily wait a week, and he's not a player who's going to go out there and score like 120, famous last words. He's not going to be that guy who you think will hurt you. So if you wait a week and he scores another 65 points, it's not the biggest deal in the world. And you could see what happens minutes-wise, but I do think his minutes will be fine. Yeah, that's a tough one. Even Satili, I wouldn't be comfortable just trading him just because we didn't get a full idea of what his minutes are going to be as well. So I'd probably sell Beau Fermor out of the two of them. And I'd probably, this is going to sound as a cop-out, 55-45 lean towards selling him this week. The other 45 saying hold for next week. But again, it becomes team dependent as to what you think you're going to have to do next week. Okay, you said your props are Flegler and Cotter, so I'd move Cotter to second row forward. So you've got a pretty good cover there. I think I'd maybe wait a week then, Josh, if you've got Cotter to fill in as your second row forward in that situation. Struggling to choose Ilias versus Galvin, thoughts? Not Ilias, in my opinion. No offense, Lachlan Ilias, if your family members are watching. He's 427k. We saw last year he was just not a Supercoach option. Very slow burn. Galvin is bottom dollar. Looks a much better talent. Or looks a good talent. Maybe I shouldn't say much better. I just feel like he's going to be a bit better for Supercoach. So out of the two, definitely I'd choose Galvin. Take that money saving as well. Silky Dimmy, Aman, I need your help. Who can I bring in as a good six, and is it worth holding Ponga when he's going to lose money next week? Again, we'll touch on the Ponga question next week. That's not really a relevant question for this week. In terms of bringing in a good six, I like Luke Brooks around the 500k range. Otherwise, deal bags if you've got the money. Let's see another. Trying to pull out different questions as well, obviously, just so we don't rehash the same stuff. Matt, if I reserve a dual to RF and they get a better score than one of my front row forward, will they sub in if the front row forward doesn't have dual? And they get a better score than one of my front row forward, will they sub in? No, you have to have that second row forward play in your front row forward. They won't just automatically sub in just because they've got a better score. I'm going Arrow to May, but would you trade Lolo as well or give it a week? Yeah, I think if you had Arrow as your guy to trade to Terrell May, I think with Lolo, I would also, as frustrating as it is, I'd probably also give it a week, just so you've got a better idea as to the quality of other options. If, for example, your second front row forward is fine and you've got Lolo, I don't actually mind going Lolo out this week for Terrell May. Hey, Ian, hey man, just jumped on. Hope you're well. I am very well. It's always good on a Thursday knowing you've got footy to look forward to. Although tonight I've only got Piakura playing. Shout out to Piakura though, if you're listening in your pre-game warm-up. If you want to repay the faithful owners from 2 weeks ago, you heard us hard with that HIA. If you don't mind just going over for a couple of tries, I mean, you're running at, Ilias, Shaq Mitchell, if he actually plays on the edge, Isaiah Tassin, Tane Milne. Yeah, look, I think it's a decent edge for you to score some points. So I would appreciate a couple of tries tonight. Piakura, no, let's not call Piakura. Brendan, I'd like a couple of tries this week, if you are listening. Worth trading Farmers Willie to Henry or hold for another week. That situation, Marco, I'd probably want to wait one more week. Bulldogs forwards minutes just look really weird last week, to be honest. Hutchinson or Trindle for last reserve. Trindle, I think I'd take the matchup there, Christian. Even though he's got a lower work rate, I think he's got a more chance of bigger attacking stats this week. Let's see, some different questions. Gazaraki, hey man, reckon trading the Warriors fullback to Talau better than getting him early? I would just keep Tuapiki until, I think, round 4. As long as CNK is not in the team, I'd keep Tuapiki. And as soon as we know that he's out, because the thing is, it seems as though their timing is going to align. Talau will only change price from round 4. Tuapiki is not going to be in the team, but what it looks like until in round 4 as well. That's what it looks like. CNK will be back. So I'm just going to try to time it so that I just trade Tuapiki to Talau at that time. Don't think you need to do that early, because I think Tuapiki, while he's playing, is a good playable option. Is trading out Viliami for Fita a luxury trade? It's a little bit luxury because he's a bottom dollar dual. So he could still be handy just for loop purposes, for example, like the Dragons played the last game this week, so you could use him as a VC loop this week. But yeah, look, if you can upgrade him to a playable option, that's not a bad thing. But again, you could wait another week. Is Gagai for Atape? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Is it worth doing Gagai to him? No, I don't think so, because I think he's just holding the spot until Olam comes back, which looks like it's next week. So I think you're just jumping from one problem to another with that trade. Or Kaipi's Paul in for Lane or Piakura. No, I don't like trading out Lane or Piakura. Both, I think, roles-wise, look safe for 80-minute roles on their respective left edges. Kaipi's Paul looked good in his half last week, but we have no idea what his minutes are going to look like. Now, this week it could be a bit different. No Dylan Lucas. He could play the full 80 and look amazing. But I definitely wouldn't be trading out Sean Lane or Piakura. What I wanted to see from Sean Lane was 80 minutes. We got that. Piakura, we obviously didn't see 80 minutes. We saw like 2 minutes, but I think he's safe for 80 minutes. So I wouldn't like to do either of those trades. Oliver, is it bad to make only one trade? No, definitely not. I think we don't really know a lot just from the 1 week, right? So, so yeah, I think I would be okay just making the one trade. That's probably what I'm going to do. Sorry, Ian. I've missed the rest of your question. That's right. I just said I'm well too. Kepi to May leaves you short by 27k. Not sure on a second trade. Should I just hold, hoping Kepi picks up? Yeah, I think you can save that for 1 week, Ian. And if you look to boost next week, one of your trades next week can be one to create money. So I think I'd probably hold fire on that one. Down Under Devil, thank you so much for joining as a member. Very much appreciate it. And thank you. There's 194 people watching, which is truly amazing. So thank you all for watching. Still sometimes pinch myself thinking, how are there 200 people watching this idiot talk about SuperCoach? But we're all part of the same community, so I love it. Thank you all. TK, hey Aman, should I get rid of Palacia for Kai Pierce-Paul? I do think long-term Pierce-Paul is going to be better than Palacia, so from that point of view, I like it. I think Palacia, that benching was that's very frustrating. He never had a good work rate. Coming off the bench, that's just not good at all, right? So, Pierce-Paul, now that Duncan has been benched, and we haven't seen Seyfarth play yet, Pierce-Paul is probably looking the best option out of those mid-range 2RFs. And again, I think that's a move. If Kai Pierce-Paul looks good this week, I think you probably going to do that move next week. So I don't mind actually doing it this week. Should you, again, team dependent, do you want to wait? Do you have other things you want to do in your team next week? But on face value, I think, Kai Peaceful probably does look like an upgrade from Palacia. Is May a must right now? This from Dylan Thompson, a member, thank you. Can only do Max King to May or deal bags to Brown? Does that mean deal bags to Brooks? Plus Palacia to May. Having Palacia does give me a VC loop on Hines. Palacia to Talau is also an option. Hair looking as luscious as ever though. Thank you, Dylan. I think in your situation, Dylan, I'd be happy to wait a week, because I think if you find that Max King again plays less minutes, you don't even need to do that other downgrade move. You can just do a straight Max King to Terrell May. But when you just, I don't love those other, I don't mind Palacia to Talau, but again, not a move you have to do this week. Neither are going to change in price round 3. It would be round 4. I'd give yourself a week on that one, Dylan, personally. Max King is still a playable option this week and still could do well. Would I put the last reserve on Wong or Galvin? Probably Sua Wong. I think I'd take Wong in that situation. Tupanua to May or hold for the week? I would hold for the week. Ponga's Pals, Levi, Galvin, Salmon, Tuapiki, Bostock Strange. Choose 2 to reserve. I would be reserving Tuapiki. Even though it's a tough matchup, I like that he's just playing fullback. I can tell you now who I would not reserve. Danny Levi. I know he's got the Tigers, but my God, that try he got last week really bailed him out. I wouldn't play Galvin. And I wouldn't play... I think I'd play Salmon out of those guys. Yeah, at least I'd take the forward in that situation. I'd probably take Salmon. Cotter to May. No, I think I'd probably hold off for a week on that one, because I think Cotter is a good option to have if you do have him. Joshua Hughes doing my work for me. 200 watching and only 33 likes. Hit that button. That is right, boys. Hit, and girls, if there's any girls watching. Although YouTube analytics tells me that 99% of my audience are men, which I suspect. But if there's any females out there, shout out to you watching as well. But yes, guys, hit that like button if you can. Trade Tavita Totola to Terrell May. Having a quick look at the bench for the Bunnies. It's a 4-forward bench, isn't it? I think I'd give Totola another week. The difference between Totola and Terrell May is maybe going to be at best 30 points, which is not ideal, but it's not crazy. So I'd probably give it a week on that one just to see Totola's role. Last reserve, Burbo or Jesse Arthurs? I think Burbo. I know Burbo scored that line break try last week, which bumped up his score, but he looks like he's going to be playing a 80-minute role, which is lovely, at least for this week. He based 39. Your alternative was Jesse Arthurs. He needed a try last week to get to 48. And Rabbitohs, while they can concede points, it's not the best matchup on paper. I think I'll take Burbo in that situation. My preference between Little or Lussick as your hooker number 1. I know the minute sharing, but probably Lussick. Just he's like 140k cheaper, but I don't think there's too much of a difference in output. Ryan Orchard, hey man, Lane versus Piakura for the last reserve. That's a tough one. I think Ryan, I would just take Piakura because he's got a better matchup than Sean Lane. He's got Penrith. At least Piakura, as I mentioned the edge before, looks like a favourable edge for him to run at. So I think I'd take Piakura. Is Hutcho a must, or can he be sacrificed for Terrell May? Bring in Talau. No, Hutcho is definitely not a must, and I think you can very much sacrifice him for Terrell May if you want to. By bringing in Talau, I don't actually hate that move, Sean. Thank you, Man, especially for all the work you do. Legend, thank you so much. Yeah, guys, if you didn't see it earlier, I did a short and sharp stream with Nicole from Wiki, who does great data and analytics, and I personally don't punt, but if you're a punter and you like to place a bet or two, obviously not sponsored at all, but gamble responsibly. But he does do stuff with draft stars and things, but also just a lot of good data analytics. He's also supporting Supercoach Guns' Try Map this year, which I think is one of the best things out there. So yeah, do give that a watch, and hopefully we're doing that on a weekly basis if we can. Is Smithies a buy? Yeah, I like Smithies as a buy. We obviously still don't know what's going to happen when Horsburgh comes back, but it was a good showing from him last week, and I think even if he plays a bench role next week, even if he comes off the bench, he's probably still going to get you 40. I think this week is going to get you 55 to 60, 40. He's still going to make money at least. So yeah, I think Smithies is a good buy this week. Do I think Payne Haas might get injured this week? I have no idea. I'm not, well, if you guys want some insight into my personal life. I love Harry Potter. I'm listening to all of Harry Potter books on Audible because I haven't read them in ages. To answer your question, I'm not Professor Trelawney. I can't predict the future. Sorry, I don't know, Jake Johnson. Surprising the women percentages are not higher given the snappy hairstyle. You tell that to my partner. I'm sure she's happy that there's no other females, or not many other females watching. Actually, I haven't even told the masses. I may as well tell you. Yeah, I got engaged not last weekend, but the week before. It was a very busy week, that last week of pre-season, because I was doing all those videos and trying to plan a proposal, and I was very stressed. Hopefully I didn't look it on the videos. But yeah, that was very exciting in the last couple of weeks. I'm sure it was the hair that sealed the deal. Come on, we can't be kidding ourselves. Yeah, once she saw the hair, she had to say yes, didn't she? Any love for Kamika? I feel like there's a forward who's come back onto the bench. Is it Nas? Asafa Solomon? I think he's come back. No, not yet. Could come back though soon. He just never really feels like a Supercoach option in the past. Let's have a look at his minutes. He played 51 minutes for 50, 443k. Again, he feels like Corey Jensen, Jacob Saifidi. I just don't know if it's enough to justify using a trade. Like if you got Sam Hughes on your bench, you're looking at a difference of maybe 15 to 20 points. I'd maybe just be happy to save that trade. But yeah, was not expecting a Professor Trelawney reference today. Of course not. Only from here where you've got NRL SuperCoach, hair advice, Harry Potter stuff. I'm just a jack of all trades. Congrats, Aman. Hair's going to look great at the wedding. Ian, thank you. Oh, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the congratulations a lot. Yes, got engaged. Yes. NASA's back. Yeah, that's the thing with Kamika. I think NASA's going to potentially ruin his minutes. Yes, thank you all. Appreciate the congrats. Very much appreciated. Didn't think I'd be telling you all on a countdown stream, but you guys just bring it out of me. You bring it out of me. So come on, guys. If there's no other reason to hit the like button, if you don't like the NRL content, at least hit the like button because I got engaged 2 weeks ago. Thank you all so much. There's a lot of you saying congrats. I can't say thank you to all of you individually, but yeah, very much appreciated it. Yeah, no, thanks guys. Very appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Do I think Bulldogs can turn the season around? Shout out to Adam DeRussi from the SC Playbook. I love his, actually like Quantium. I think it's the company he works at. But I feel like the Bulldogs probably are going to have another tough season, just another rebuild. What did they come last year? Like 15th? Maybe they come like 12th. I can't see them making the 8. So maybe if they can push for the top half of the bottom 8 is maybe where I see them as their best case. Alex gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Alex. And guys, give a big shout out to Alex in the chat for doing that. That's a lovely gesture. Disco Turtle, great username. Fermor and Willison for May and between Seyfarth, Duncan Smithies and Pierce Paul. Yeah, look, Willison, I don't know when he's going to come into this team. Fermor for May, I think it's fine. And between those options you've mentioned, I think just for the safety of minutes, I think I would go with, and cash growth at the moment, Smithies. But I think those are two pretty decent trades because Willison, you're fixing a problem there. And Fermor for May, like, yeah, I think it's fine. And Smithies, I think, is a good option for bringing in cash. Beer Barons gifted another 10 memberships. You all are being way too kind. Also, yeah, shout out. Where's Tom J? Tom J I haven't seen him in a single stream this year. But you guys are taking up the mantle in his absence of gifting memberships. So thank you, the Beer Baron, for gifting those 10 as well. Appreciate it a lot. Hutchinson or Strange? I don't know. Strange has got a good matchup. Oh, I think I'd actually lean Strange. Just take that Tigers matchup. Matthew, oh my God. How did I propose? Was it at the SuperCoach launch at the Star? It definitely was not at the SuperCoach launch at the Star. Although it did happen a day beforehand. So there was it was a very fun weekend. A few of the people there knew, but yeah, no, it was a very fun weekend. No, it wasn't at the SuperCoach. It was where we first met, of course. Sentimental. Yeah, Matthew, you're doing the Oprah. You get a member. That is right. We've still got 21 minutes, guys. We've still got plenty of questions to go through. Better not miss a podcast for a silly wedding. Yeah, look, we're gonna have to see how the content goes next year. If planning a wedding obviously is a huge deal. And if I'm away for a weekend or two, it's probably because of that. So don't crucify me if that's the case. Viliami Fifita to McIntyre, a waste trade. I think it's a bit surprised at myself. This is the first time I've talked about Sam McIntyre. I think McIntyre all week. Didn't mention him at all on Tuesday. Haven't mentioned him on socials at all. With him, again, I think it's a minutes thing. Like Tamalolo playing 22 minutes fed into McIntyre playing such big minutes. He played 47 minutes. Pleasingly, he had a good work rate. Like in his 47 minutes, he based 48. So at least we know, like, generally, if he's going to play decent minutes, he'll get the points. But we just don't know if that's going to be his norm. So that does feel like a wasted trade. I think you can wait a week, see how the minutes look. And if that is McIntyre's role, then maybe it is worth the trade. But this week, I don't think so. Does the future Mrs. play Supercoach? No. If I'm being honest, shout out to her, she's listening. She thinks Supercoach is a bit silly. But you know what? She watches maths. So apologies any maths owners here, but owners, maths watchers. I tell her that watching maths is silly. So I say, whatever you think about me playing Supercoach and watching all of this rugby is exactly how I feel about you watching maths. So how about we just compromise, agree that we both think either what we watch is silly, and we mutually move forward. And that's how it is. It's good partnership. But yes, no, she doesn't watch. Although she has said like she's happy to go to an NRL game if I really wanted to take her. So yeah, she's good in that sense. Can't wait for the baby Amans with exquisite hair. They better have good head of hair, otherwise I'm going to have to disown them. Piakura or Wong to play. I think Piakura prefers matchup just a tad, and I think he's going to more likely play 80 minutes than Wong. Reserve Hughes, Henry or Salmon. I think Salmon. Take the guy who's probably going to play the most minutes. Lenu to Curran, already have May. I don't hate that move, Joshua. I think Curran is going to be decent, but again, I think that one could wait a week so you get a better idea of the minutes for the Bulldogs. But I think Curran is obviously a better option than Lenu, who's suspended. So don't hate that move, Josh, but if you can wait a week, I'd probably suggest to do that. But yeah, look, I'm happy with Curran, at least in my team, so I can't say no to not getting him. Hit that bell, Mozza. Thanks for whoever gives me the membership. Only reason I realized Aman was live. Oh, you got a shout out then. Beer Baron and Alex Ruffany. And we've got someone else now. Tom. Tom has stepped in for the absent Tom J, gifting another 10 memberships. Thank you all. You're being so generous. VC Latrell. You've got Dillbags, Hines, and Ponga. Not sure what to do. Aaron. You know what? I think in that situation, I don't mind VC Latrell and then Captain Hines. I think because there's not a lot of great VC options today. If you're not sure what to do, I think VC Latrell and then just go Captain Hines, I think, if in doubt. Hey man, first season playing, didn't realize the meta was to blow the budget on halves and fullbacks. Can I still do okay with a more spread team? Got 1k last round, but I'm thinking that's a fluke. Congrats, that's probably better than any rank I'm going to get in a single week. You can still do well with this more spread team, but it's more in the long term. The points do come from the fullbacks and the halfbacks. So I think you're actually okay right now because the likes of Cleary, tough run until about round 5 or 6. Fullbacks, though, I would encourage trying to get good fullbacks in because they all killed it last week. So I think fullbacks I would try to get. If you got one of Hines, that's hopefully that's okay. All right, sorry, there's a lot of questions that I've missed because of the memberships and all the congrats and stuff. She thinks Supercoach is silly. She's not the one, bro. Too late, man. Too late. I put a ring on it already. I can't ask for it back. Nah, I say that, but she gets what I do, and she gets that I like it, so she's happy that I'm happy. So that's how it is. Tom J was legendary. Tom J was a legend. I literally created a emoji for members to use in honor of Tom J. I'm going to use it in the chat right now, actually. Tom J gifted me this. I'm going to have to alter that. I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to think of some new images to use as well. Lane or Flanagan last reserve? Oh, I think I take Lane. Prefer his safety. Flanagan scored 58 with a line break try. He's not going to get that every week. All right, we'll get onto your question. How much time have we got? We've got 16 minutes, so we'll keep running through all of these. Thoughts on VC Piakura? Yeah, I did consider that myself. If I was just going to straight Captain Hines, but if you think you're just going to Captain Hines anyway, then he's probably, if he's your only option to VC this week, then sure. And if you don't have a loop, then yeah, it's probably fine. Thoughts on playing Kai Pearce-Paul? Yes, I think if you have Kai Pearce-Paul, you play him. Why has Gagai not been picked? I don't know, James. Like, honestly, apart from the coaching staff of the Rabbitohs, does anyone rate Taane Milne? I hope he doesn't watch this and think, oh my God, this guy doesn't know what I'm talking about. But like, I don't know. Jacob Gagai looked good. We obviously don't see them at practice, but Taane Milne, I just feel like he's a bit of a hothead. He seems to get suspended fairly often. I would pick Jacob Gagai. And this is me as a very biased owner, but I would play Jacob Gagai instead of Taane Milne. Need a hair check emote. Yeah, I think I'm way past overdue on putting a hair emoji. Thank you for that one, Dylan. I think during the Rabbitohs game, I'll make a good hair emoji of some kind. Pam Inglis, female viewer here, 12-year SuperCoach player. Love your work. We've got a non-male in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. You must be the 1%, Pam, of my viewers, because 99% are all men. But no, great to see you here, and thank you so much for the kind words. When was Jacob Gagai not playing? Yeah, check the team list. Jacob Gagai, guys, if you haven't seen the latest, he is not playing today. Taane Milne has taken his right wing spot. I'm refreshing the SuperCoach website. Yes, and it shows it now. Gagai's not been named. Can you wish my mate Maddie a happy birthday? Maddie, friend of Harry Vanessi, happy birthday, mate. Hope you have a good one. I hope you have Brendan Piakura in your team and he can score 1,000 points. Why do I have Lenu? I'll quickly explain it, Lincoln. He's my best loop option this week. So I've got VC Hines, and if he goes big, I can use Lenu as my captain, get the VC double points from Nico Hines, and it gives me a week then to save and assess who's a better front row forward option to trade in for Lenu. That's the only reason why I've got Lenu. Last reserve, Hutchie, Galvin, Bostock, Levi, Chan, or Strange. Don't really love a lot of them. It's either Hutchinson or Strange, I think. I think I would actually lean Strange. Take the matchup. At least we know that Strange gets about 30 in base. Good matchup against Tigers. He gets one attack stat. We're looking at about a 45 to 50, which fair, Hutchinson can get to, but he's got a worse matchup. At least with Gagai, I can VC loophole if the troll goes big. Aaron, I don't actually know because he's going to lock out. So you're not going to be able to move a captaincy on him once he's locked out. So just double check that, but I'm fairly sure you won't be able to do that. Milner's an A-grade crop. Benny G. Duncan on the bench. I like the first one, Disco. What is Disco saying? Should I boost either Willison and Fermor for May and Smithies, or boost Willison, Fermor, and Tupanor for May, Smithies, and Duncan? No. Yeah, with Duncan on the bench, I think Disco, just save the boost, do the first one. So the Willison and Fermor to May and Smithies, I think is fine. Alex again gifting another 10. Alex, you're trying to get into the emoji territory where I have to make it Alex Ruffini, if I pronounce that correctly, Ruffini. Alex, you are gifting plenty of memberships, so very much appreciate the generosity. And guys, give a big shout out. He's now gifted 20. I should guys, let me know actually, because I'm always stumped for ideas. But let me know if there's any extra type of content you would value if you were a member, and I can see what I can do. Obviously, it's very tough to put in more content. I do try to put out as much. I pretty much try to make all my content just freely available, like, and not have to segregate it to like Patreon or memberships. But if there's anything you guys want, you let me know and I'll see what I can do. An FPL question from Ian. Yes, I will captain Son this week. I'm going on free hit this week as well. Once Richarlison got injured and the matchups for round 20 for game week 29 looked as they were, my team was not well set up. So yeah, I'll be free hitting and Son will be my captain. What a Manu. Yes, I love that emoji. I made that emoji when Manu went 191 points. I still remember that very dearly because that's probably the best example I've had where I felt so strongly about a player doing well and it actually happened. Like, I was so close to captaining him that week. I was just like, guys, I've just got a feeling whatever you do, get Manu into your team. He's going to go absolutely huge. And it paid off. He scored 191 points. So that's probably the only time one of my callers actually worked like that. Crazy pod picks. You want crazy pod picks and your extra content? Of course. How to do your hair like Aman. Yeah, if you want some hair content, yeah, why not? Buy, hold, sells. Yeah, I mean, buy, hold, sells is quite a popular content type. I don't generally do it just because I try to express that anyway in my content. Maybe Maybe it can be like shorts. I don't know. There's YouTube shorts. I'm trying to do more on Instagram now. If you notice, like I'm trying to do like my random Aman walks videos and stuff like that. Someone has just messaged me on Instagram saying, "Stop frowning in my reels. You'll get wrinkles." There you go. Yeah. I watch along every now and then. Yeah, the thing with, I have thought about a watch along. Obviously, the thing with a watch along is I can't show the game on the stream because that's probably in breach of copyright of KO. But I could just film my reactions. But it's 80 minutes. It becomes a long stream. My internet is dodgy at the best of times anyway. That's probably the only issue I think with a watch along, but it's not a bad idea. Benny G, let's see this. Puasa to May, Fermor to Kai, Piers Paul, and Hutch to Talau. Or do I go Fermor to Kai, Piers Paul, Hutch to Talau, and Gagai to Laybut? So basically you're saying we'd get rid of Gagai or Puasa. I feel like, so the main differentiator I see there is also that you're getting in May versus Laybut. And I think I prefer Terrell May. I think just longer term, I think he's going to be more of a safe bet. He's a bit cheaper than Laybut. And I think also Benny G, the thing is also that front row forward, like outside of Terrell May, who are we picking? We have no idea. At least in the centre wing position, you've got more options that you can generally move to. So while Laybut may be a good option, you've got others you can pivot to. Front row forward is a desert. We just don't have many. So I think I prefer your first one, Benny G. And the other thing is that Farmasuli could be an AE nightmare. At the very least with Gagai, if he's not playing, he's going to be a loop option for you. So yeah, I think I'd go with your first option, which I think are fair, which I think are fine trades as well. Get Starlink. Yeah. Thanks guys for all those comments on the internet recommendations. Yeah, because I'm moving to a new place, so I need to get new internet hooked up. Get rid of slow mode. The only reason I keep slow mode Disco Turtle is so that people don't spam their questions multiple times. I can reduce the time with the slow mode, but that's the main reason why. Yep, we've got 9 minutes until lockout. Drinky Captain Smokey. Yeah, I think Drinky Captain is pretty fair. He scored 48. Cowboys looked good in attack. If Kyle Felt puts the ball down without a knock on, I think I would, Drinkwater's probably on 65 and probably people are thinking about him a little bit differently. Yeah, I think I was saying this to Nicole in our preview stream. Outside of Nico Hines, captaincy is pretty wide open. So I think this is why I do like putting VC Hines, if you can do the loop, of course, because then if Hines doesn't go big, you've got pretty even field of, people maybe split on going Turbo, Ponga, Drinky. Let's actually have a quick look at the captaincy percentages just while we're at it. So I think I like it from that point of view. It's pretty even field. Yeah, so Hines is actually not the most captain. Cleary is the most captain, which I'm a bit surprised about. But yeah, you got Ponga 10.7%, Turbo 8%, Drinkwater only 3%. So it's not like one of these guys is like 20-25%. So yeah, I think Drinkwater is a good pod captaincy shout, especially when we just not Turbo looked really good, but tougher matchup. Knights didn't look great, so that's probably a negative for Ponga. The thing with the Cowboys is that they looked good. Drinkwater still looked good. The game just wasn't there for him to be involved. If they spam, block them. Yeah, fair enough. Actually, that's fair shout, Disco Turtle. I can look at that for the next stream. No problems, Benny G. Appreciate the insight. Look, I don't know if it's insight I provide. I just provide my view. Whether it's right or not, we'll see. Matthew, Aman, long-time listener. One of the first times I've been able to catch you live. Love your work. Thank you so much, Matthew. I appreciate that a lot. Lomax captain. Yeah, again, I don't hate it. I expect a reaction from the Dolphins. Like, they've made pretty big changes. They've dropped Tessie New. They've dropped one of the halves, Sean O'Sullivan. So they're trying to make some adjustments for their defense on the edge. So I think Lomax, I don't think he'll go 100 plus again this week, but he probably would be good for like 70 plus. So yeah, I think, again, what I said with captaincy, it's very open outside of Nico Hines. So I think if you've got a feeling on him, he's the last game. There's always a nice thing about captaining a guy in the last game of the week. You can kind of pin your hopes for your round on that very last game. Captain Lomax or Ponga? I think if I had both of them though, I think I'd still go with Ponga. Is Lomax a must if he goes big this week? Only thing that worries me is playing for the Dragons. Now, I put this on Instagram in my random thoughts while I was walking. is he like Jermaine Asako from last season? You know, we all thought the Dolphins were going to be poor, and they ended up finishing 14th, but they at least scored points. Asako was the right winger, scored a bucket load of points, goal kicking. Lomax is the same kind of thing, you know, right winger, goal kicking, good base, which is better than Asako. And the thing with Lomax is that he's actually like a proven gun. Like, he has been a good Supercoach point scorer in the past. Someone made a good comparison. Like, I was comparing him to Asako from last year, and someone said, if the Dragons improve, even if they don't improve, but Lomax getting these kind of base stats and goal kicking, he could be like Garrick. And I was like, that's a fair shout. Maybe not as good as Garrick, because I suspect Manly will score more points. But if we're talking that, then yeah, you probably are talking close to must territory. So that's, again, another reason why I'm happy to maybe wait a week. If Lomax feels like a must option, then I'm going to need to do some serious shifting of the team to create funds. I'm most definitely going to be boosting next week, I think, as well. Berg says, Heinz VC, drink your captaincy locked. Good luck this week. No, good luck to you as well. It's just started raining. We've got 5 minutes to go. Just going to double check my teams. And also, guys, again, of course, make sure your reserves and stuff are playing later in the week. Broncos Souths, I've only got Piakura. I've got Heinz and Curran who I've got starting. Penrith Eels, obviously Cleary has to be on the bench, but I've got Lane starting. Canberra versus the West Tigers. Yes, actually, I need Smithies to be on my bench. Yeah, okay, I think my benching is all correct. Reserve between Strange and Salmon. I think Salmon I'd probably take. Reserve 2 between Strange, Hughes, Henry and Hutchinson. Hutchinson 1. And I think Strange just on the matchup. Reserve between Flanagan and Cogger. Again, probably Flanagan. He's got a good matchup in terms of point scoring, and he's going to play 80 minutes compared to Cogger. Oh, Gazaraki, another 10 memberships. You are too kind. Appreciate it a lot. All right, I think... Okay, no, we'll give a quick shout out for Gazaraki. Guys, you've been gifting so many memberships this stream. It's very, very generous. Very much appreciated. Guys, make sure you give love to all the people who've been gifting the memberships. Harold, you've gone Lomax this week. Good luck. I think, look, this is the thing with Lomax I will say. Like, if you're keen on him, it's a good week to trade him in this week because he's got the Dolphins. He's got the Cowboys next week. It's not as good of a matchup. He's got the Dolphins this week. Like, if you want to go for points, this is a good round to get to him. How would I make 400k to get to Lomax? It probably requires a sacrifice of one of my guns, which is not ideal. It would, like, being honest with myself, I'd probably have to sell 2 of Asashek. So I'd probably have to then find, what is it? We're looking at about 70, if my maths is correct, 60 plus 30 is 90. I'd have to free up 90k, which I've currently got quite a bit. I've got 165, so it might be RTS to Lomax. That's probably the easiest way for me to do it. Otherwise, I might have to sell, because the thing is, otherwise, I think I'm going to have to sell a big gun like a Harry Grant, or maybe I sell one of my 4 second row forwards. Maybe Curran's role's not good. Maybe Curran down to a Pierce Paul. That frees up about 80k. That also could be the difference too. Have I already gone over Laybut? I'm a bit late. No, not yet, but Laybut, I think good option, but I think I'm happy to wait a week because Dolphins look really bad. I don't think the Knights are going to be as easy of an opposition as the Dolphins were last week. So yeah. What did I score last week? 868. Alright guys, I think I'll answer this one last question from Disco Turtle, which was reserve Tupanua, Chan, Salmon or Hutchinson. I think Tupanua. I think I'd go Tupanua. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end the stream there a couple of minutes early just so I can sort myself out and make sure I'm well positioned in front of the TV for the game tonight. But thank you all for joining. Very much appreciate it. Thank you all for gifting those memberships. It was very kind of you. And yeah, thank you Evan for all those great messages about my engagement from a couple of weeks ago. So thank you all. I'm going to end the stream there. Hope you all have a good one. Give the stream a like as well on the way out if you did enjoy it. But thanks so much. Appreciate you all. And hopefully see you all Sunday evening for the wrap up stream. But see you then and have a good luck for this weekend.